All right, New Year's Eve. First and foremost, thank you for supporting us. I really, really appreciate it. We have a lot of food for you, and it's all really, really, really simple to put together. But I'm going to jump right into it and kind of show you what to do. First thing you want to do is set your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. The only thing that you need to heat up is your bread. So you have your Danish rye bread. I already preheated my oven before we started this video, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in. There's 3 slices in here. You're going to open up your bag, and you have Danish rye. I'm going to put it in the oven. And I'm going to toast it for about 8 minutes. While that's toasting, you can put together everything else. We'll start with the big one, the crab. Okay, Dungeness crab. You're going to open this up, and you're going to see that you have a whole cooked crab. You have claw crackers. You have Louis sauce. And you have a Meyer lemon that's cut in half. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to transfer everything out of this box. I'm going to put these right here. I'm going to take the crab, put it on a plate. I'm going to take Louis out. I'm going to take the Meyer lemon out. Into a little ramekin, I'm going to put the Louis so people can dip in the crab into this. It's completely ready to go. And on the plate, I'm going to put the lemon. So you can do 2 things here. You can serve the crab to your guests like this, let them tear the limbs off and go for it, or you can take it apart yourself, which I'm going to show you very briefly how to do. Okay? So we're going to take the crab, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I can't count, legs. We're going to flip it over like this, claws, hind fins. You're just going to take them off. So to take them off, you take it and just pull it. It's that easy. Okay? We're taking all these off. And I know most of you probably know how to do this, but I just wanted to make sure. So when we take these off, we can also use some scissors and cut the rubber bands off. Okay? So we have our claws and our legs. Okay? This part, so this is the top of the shell, or the head, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to put that in my left hand. Okay? And this is kind of the body cavity here. And inside of here is where all the body meat is. Some of my favorite meat in the whole thing. But right back here is where the body cavity meets the shell. Okay, can you see that? This is the body cavity, this is the shell. So in my left hand, I'm going to take my right thumb, I'm going to put it right where the body cavity meets the shell, and I'm just going to kind of pull up. And it comes completely apart. So then you're left with your head with all the crab miso in it. I wouldn't throw this away. If you don't want to eat it, you don't have to, but this is really delicious if you toast some like sourdough bread or whatever you have and dip it in this. It's really, really, really tasty. So I'm going to sit this on here like that. Okay? So once we have this out, you can see on the side here are the gills of the crab. You definitely don't want to eat those. So you can just snip them off with some scissors. Just make sure you get all of them off. The crab obviously lives on the bottom of the ocean, and the gills are what kind of filter the water that goes through its lungs, and I wouldn't recommend eating those. They're going to be really bitter, and they're not going to taste good. So that's all garbage. Okay? So, and you can kind of see in here, it's just kind of like a little bit messy, so I'm just going to run a little cold water over it just to clean up the meat that's inside. So just from the faucet in your kitchen, you just take it, Get all that water out of there. Just kind of shake it. Okay, and then you're left with just the body cavity that's been cleaned. And you can see down in there all the crab meat. It's really delicious. So, right here, this is actually the reproductive organ of the crab. And we're going to take that off. So, in order to do that, you're going to take both your hands, you're going to grab it with your fingers on the bottom, and you're just going to push it together. And it breaks, just really, really easy. And then you pick this up with your finger, and then you're just going to throw this away. That's simple. And from this point, you can kind of take your thumb and break it open. And you can just serve this like this if you want, or I like to kind of press into it and kind of break it apart a little bit more. Just kind of like use your fingers, and you can get outside here on the crab and just tear little pieces. So when it's time for you to eat, you can just kind of take a little fork and go in there and pick all the meat out of the head. Very simple. So you can just go through and just kind of break them into pieces. And it's a bit messy, but you know, it's a whole crab. It's supposed to be. It's fun. These are delicious. We got them this morning. Really, really nice crabs. We're just going to put these on here like this, and I'll let the guests kind of pick through that to eat. And that's taking apart a crab. It's really easy. So I'm going to wipe my board down so the other food doesn't taste like crab. So we've got our crab with Louis sauce. We have the head with the back fat. We have our claws. We have our Meyer lemon. We have our crab head, body meat, and we have our Louis sauce. Okay. Next thing we're gonna do, we're just gonna go right down and tick all the boxes. This is our farmer's market crudité. You're gonna open this thing, and it's beautiful. In here, you have everything under the sun that's growing in California right now. You have baby carrots, you have Romanesco, you have cauliflower, you have like 4 or 5 different varieties of radish, you have pickled crones, you have kohlrabi, delicata squash that's been really lightly roasted just until it's tender. There's some lettuce in here, blah, 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 blah. There's tons of stuff in there. So we can just kind of take it. It's a crudité plate, right? So you're going to take it and just kind of like nicely place it on a plate for you and your guests. These really beautiful radishes that are grown by Tucker Taylor, or turnips, sorry, that are grown by Tucker up in Sonoma. He was the head gardener for the French Laundry for a long time. Lettuce going on here. Just kind of arrange it and just make it really beautiful. Like these vegetables, we live in California, and it's just unreal how beautiful this stuff is. You know, there's enough vegetables in here to feed 6 people. It's really awesome. Lobak, which is a really, really nice spicy radish. There's some hothouse cucumbers that were at the farmer's market. You know, don't be afraid if you want to cut this stuff down. That's my timer for my bread. It's almost done. If you want to cut this stuff down, feel free to. I just wanted to give it to you in like the most natural form that we could, because I think it's really beautiful and it's kind of fun to eat this way. And then these little things are crones. We took them and pickled them. They're also called Chinese artichokes. They're a really nice, pleasant texture. Nice and crunchy. You're just kind of making this like really awesome, rich, crudité platter to go along with your crab. And with this crudité platter, we're gonna we made what we're calling a Thai curry green goddess, or Thai green curry. So we took lime leaves and pandan, and made oil out of it and emulsified it into this dressing here. It's super tasty. There's also cilantro, Thai basil, chives in there as well. And it's ready to go. So we're just going to take this, and we're going to put it in a bowl on the side of this crudité platter. And there you have it. You have the market vegetable crudités with the Thai curry gringatas, which we're going to sit right here. Next thing, I'm going to put the Parmesan cheese and black truffle cream puffs on a plate. These are completely ready to go. All you have to do is transfer them to a plate. And if you don't want to transfer them to a plate, you can just eat them right out of this thing. It's up to you. So these, 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to see in there there's some cheese and truffle left over in there, and I would just kind of take that and sprinkle it and screw it just on top of it. So we have the Perigord black truffle and Parmesan cheese cream puffs to go along with our New Year's Eve meal. Next, let's take this bread out of the oven. This bread right now is very, very hot. I'm going to kind of place it on the edge of my cutting board just to cool down a little bit, because if you put the cream cheese on it now, it's going to melt. Okay? Next, let's put the eggs on a plate. So you have half a dozen Jidori eggs in here that have been turned into deviled eggs. And then you have a potato chip furikake. So what you're going to do is you're going to open this furikake, and you're going to kind of sprinkle it on the plate. Like a third of it, about that. And then you're going to open this up, and you're going to see that your eggs are in here. Then you can just place those right on the plate. Putting the crumble on the plate is going to keep them from sliding all over the place when you move it. And then to finish, you're going to put the rest of the furikake on there. So you have your deviled eggs with potato chip furikake. Next, we're going to put our shrimp cocktail on a plate. Inside of here, you're going to see you have your cocktail sauce. We're going to put that in the bottom. I always like to use these rubber spatulas because it doesn't leave anything behind. It lets you get every single bit of sauce out of any container. It's always really nice. So we've got our cocktail sauce in there. And this cocktail sauce has a lot of horseradish in it. It's got some wasabi in it, and it's based with yuzu juice. Then we're going to take our shrimp. We're going to hang them on the side. So you have your shrimp cocktail as well to go along with this awesome amount of food. Okay, so next, our bread's just about there. We can put together our poke. So you have a yellowfin tuna poke. And on top of it, you'll see there are these little white beads. It's called masago. It's puffed glutinous rice. There's yellowfin in here. There's some soy sauce, some mirin, sweet onion, wakame. It's really, really delicious. So you're just going to take that and you're going to dump it into the bowl. I'm going to make it into a circle in that bowl. And then on top of that, you have the puffed rice crackers. You can crumble these on top. You can eat them like that. I would use a spoon, put it on here, and just kind of eat it. But you can just put them on the edge of the dish, like such. Really good. Okay, so you have your tuna poke with puffed rice crackers. And then we're going to take our Danish rye, which is now a little warmer than room temperature, a little above body temperature. And you have your smoked salmon schmear, which this is cold smoked salmon, chives, shallots, cream cheese, and a little bit of salt. It's just meant to be real straightforward. I'm going to use an offset and just smear it all over this bread. Kind of think of this like a bagel without the bagel. And you have kind of too much salmon smear in here. I just always kind of want to give more than what's needed just to make sure you have enough for what you'd want. And on this you can put as little or as much as you'd like. Okay, so we've got it smeared. I've probably got another 2 tablespoons of it in there. And then you have brassica sprouts in a container that we are going, excuse me, to just kind of take a pinch and spread over the top of this. Again, as much or as little as you'd like. I really like these. A lady at the farmer's market grows them. They're way better than what you buy in grocery stores and things like that. She makes mixes herself. They're really, really nice. So I used almost all the sprouts because I really like them. And I'm about to run out of plateware. So we can go ahead and transfer our Danish rye to our plate that we're going to serve it on. And then the last thing we're going to do is we have this everything seed crumble. There's popped sorghum in here, there's nutritional yeast, there's sesame seeds, there's caraway seed, poppy seed, just pretty much everything you'd have on an everything bagel. And you're just going to take that and sprinkle it all over the top. Okay? So you have your Danish rye with your smoked salmon schmear, brassica sprouts, and everything bagel seed. And then, last but not least, we have our wild mussels with radish. I have to find a bowl for this. I would put them in a smaller bowl, but I live in a condo and don't really have much plateware, so you're going to open this up. The mussels have been steamed already and picked, so they're all in here completely cooked, ready to eat. And we've made this salsa verde. It's tomatillos, cilantro, some raw garlic, lime zest, and lime juice. And you go ahead, you can just take it and dump it in the bottom of a bowl. Just kind of get them in a single layer, so they're all kind of like in the salsa verde. And then in here, the one labeled radish for mussels, you have purple daikon, you have watermelon radish, and you have red radishes. So this is just kind of like something nice and crunchy to serve on top of these mussels. So you can just kind of place them in there however you want. You know, stand some up, place some down, just make it look really beautiful. You know, feel free to use all of them. I like radishes a lot, especially in the wintertime because they're in season. Super crunchy, nice spicy. Okay, so wild mussels and salsa verde with radishes. And that's pretty much the whole meal. The only thing I don't have with me right now is the oysters. I didn't want to get them today. I wanted to get them the morning of all the pickups because me personally in the restaurant, I want to get in oysters every single day and serve them all that day and kind of flip over to new the next day. So, but that you're going to have half a dozen oysters in a container with an oyster knife, and all you're going to use is a kitchen towel and place the oyster in it and shuck the oyster. There are lots of videos online. The one thing I am going to say is do not press hard into the oyster, because either you can slip with the knife and puncture the oyster, which you don't really want to do, or, you know, but just make sure you use a towel, because I don't want anybody to hurt themselves. But this is, excuse me, this is pretty much the whole feast. Please feel free to reach out to me by email or anything if you have any questions. I hope you really enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy 2021. Thank you.